It's just I know you just came back from Chicago, and the story that Sue's writing is a little bit about this state-level effort on the
Yes.
Teachers Academy. But I'm curious what the financial crisis, they've described at the Federal Reserve Bank as a financial literacy crisis in the United States. Do you agree with that, and what do you see as the crisis?
I very much agree with it. We all know, because we went through school ourselves, that we pay precious little attention to training our young people to go out and be adults. And one of the things that means when they go out and they're on their own is that they have to manage their own finances. And it's a fairly complicated world out there nowadays, and it's a world in which you can go out as an adult and get yourself into trouble. You can get in trouble on credit cards, you can get into trouble on other kinds of spending in a way that maybe you couldn't 2 generations ago. And we need to make sure that our young people have some training, have some background, and understand the choices that they're being asked to make, and which ones make sense and which ones don't make sense. And so I think that it is a crisis as shown by the fact that we have high foreclosure rates in Ohio. It's a crisis as shown by the fact that 2 years ago we had record bankruptcy numbers. And until we feel confident that we are giving people the tools to make good, hard-headed decisions for themselves, we're just asking for trouble, and we're making.
Cordray said he sees many potential benefits for Ohio students.
Way. What we had been pushing for years now was for the legislature to require that every high school student, before they graduate, should get education and training in financial literacy, or what I call personal finance education. We accomplished that in December of last year. For every high school student, it's phased in, who starts high school in 2010, they are now going to be required to have this training and background. The question then becomes, what do we do for the school districts? The school districts are now being told, yet again, here's something else you need to do because the rest of our society doesn't take care of the problem, so schools, you fix it. What we're doing in the Treasurer's office is we're putting together the program on this. We're putting together curricula, we're putting together alternative choices that school districts can decide they're going to do it for 18 weeks if they're aggressive, or they're going to do it for 6 weeks if they're having trouble squeezing it in, depending on what kind of teachers they have available. We are also starting this summer with teacher academies. We've got 7 teacher academies scheduled around the state to train and certify teachers in teaching personal finance education. Those teachers will then, as part of the academy, they're required to go out, teach this in their district in the fall, not waiting until 2010, getting started now. And as they teach it, then come back to us and talk about what they think works, what they think doesn't work, and that's all going to be part of what they need to get credit for the Teacher Academy. The interesting thing is that even though this isn't required now for almost 3 years, our Teacher Academies have been absolutely oversubscribed. We have more than 200 teachers signed up to get the training this summer, and we're having to close down those academies. In fact, I just met with my folks the other day and challenged them, how can we avoid turning teachers away on this? What can we do to expand this program, or should we schedule some more academies? What we weren't sure of was what kind of demand there would be, because it's easy for some districts to just say, I don't have to worry about that for 3 years. I've got enough on my plate right now. But at the level of the teachers, there's a huge appetite for this. They all understand this is an area and a need that's grossly underserved.
Cordray said he learned important financial lessons after he'd received his winnings from his appearance on Jeopardy in the 1990s.
I never actually had experienced any dramatic financial trouble, but oddly enough, it's kind of a different problem. I had a windfall that brought this home to me, which is when I was just out of school, I happened to be a contestant on the Jeopardy television show. And after I was on the show, I did very well. 3 months later, I get a check in the mail for $40,000. And question is, what do I do with this? Well, I didn't know what I put it in the bank, but I didn't know how to invest it or what to do. And that's for me a recognition that I had gone through school, I'd taken a lot of classes, I have a background in economics, and yet it's a different thing to actually manage your own finances, to budget, to invest, to plan for the future. We're asking kids nowadays, we're asking them to plan for retirement, plan their own retirements, 20, 30, 40 years down the road. And if they don't really know about balancing a checkbook or staying out of credit card debt, it's pretty hopeless to think they're going to be able to handle that complicated task.